Good morning. Welcome you to the annual meetings. Reflecting this annual meeting, and this is my third annual meetings, I asking myself, we go to a lot of those summit or conversations, and I often, I have to say, this discussion has always been the same. And last night I was reading the script the team has written. I was thinking, do I want to repeat the same message again? And Annabelle has said a lot of things. I'm not going to repeat what she has said. I wonder, last 10 years, Africa has done well. But the next 10 years, the environment will be different. Iron ore price is $80 per ton right now. I'm not too sure we'll ever go back to $180. And the copper, oil price is $90. So relying on a commodity, think that will be the magic bullet to pull Africa out of poverty is not going to happen. And so what is the new thinking for us? We talk a lot about private sector. We talk a lot of the, I would say, pretty generic stuff. Sitting in my chair, I've been thinking, I'm looking for that magic bullet. What can we do? What can we do to create jobs, to really spur the economic development? And, in our work, we often spend time to think about, why don't we do manufacturing? Let's bring a lot of manufacturing, labor-intensive industry to Africa. I'm not too sure that's the solution, because I often ask our team, are you sure whatever products the country or the company will produce will be competitive, benchmarked against some of the best manufacturing houses in the world? If you talk about textile, I think Bangladesh, Pakistan, perhaps that's competitive. If you talk electronics, do we really have that foundation? So, I would say over last few months, we have been thinking hard on what is the thing we need to do to look at the comparative advantage in Africa and to really develop the foundation for the economy, not only relying on selling commodities or selling some labor-intensive products to the world. I think Africa has 1 billion people. We already have an emerging middle class. What are the things we need to do for ourselves in Africa? So we have a couple of ideas, and I want to share this with you. And certainly this will be in the context of what Annabelle has said. There has to be, even better doing business environment, regulatory, and encouraging entrepreneurship, less red tape. We all know that. And there has to be much better infrastructure. That will be the work a lot of international organizations, global investors, because Africa does not have enough, what I call continent-wide, enough capital and capacity. That's where we need help. So regulatory environment, infrastructure, we all know that. We also know we need to have a lot more financing, not only on international financing. I keep saying, unless we can somehow also mobilize the domestic resources, it's very hard to imagine we are going to build the whole Africa's infrastructure all based on foreign exchange. We all know the risk. So these are the things I've been thinking. These are the broader contexts. But in terms of what we need to do, I will just offer a few thoughts. I think Africa clearly is very competitive if we somehow figure out how to make the agriculture sector work. And I cannot help but to really admire one story recently in the bad news from Ebola in Liberia. The Firestone operation has been there for more than 120 years. And the ability of that business to make sure that the city also named Firestone, I was told, and there's no infection, and the business has really created such a strong social network and the ability to handle the crisis, although there are some patient from outside went into the city, they were able to isolate and deal with it. We need more. The reason Firestone can do that is they have certainly resources because they are leveraging Liberia's strong advantage. So I think on agriculture is clearly something we need to do, not just trying to feed the population in Africa. It's really identify the area, identify what is needed to create that value chain, to create more operation of Firestone type, natural rubber, high value, coffee, cocoa, you name it. I don't think we have done a good job in enable that value chain to work. Another area we are very focused, I hope we will show some results soon, is really what do we do about construction job, housing in Africa. These are not, I can't imagine there will be a lot of competition there. Africa needs a lot of houses, need a lot of infrastructure, but how can we create that value chain? I can't imagine. I remember someone told me a story when they started in a country to do construction, that country cannot produce a single nail. There's no construction, there's no job if you can't have some basics. But you are not going to say, hey, let's produce a lot of nails or cement if there's no demand. There's no demand on construction. So that's really the dilemma we need to address. So IFC has been thinking along the construction value chain. We believe that's the most interesting job creation opportunity and also create wealth, because this is not social housing. I'm not talking about kind of a government handout social housing. I'm talking about affordable commercial housing. Imagine if we somehow can do something in that sector. We create a lot of construction jobs. You all know this. Once the construction job is finished, you have maintenance. There's a very good study done by the University of Cape Town. For every what they call $200 million they spend, they create over 10 years' time, create 100,000 jobs. 50,000, half of that is permanent because you need the maintenance, you need a lot of things. And not only that, we are, IFC is experimenting. This is not really, we are financing a couple of construction companies at the development stage, and also mobilize the banks we supported and provide mortgage. And mobilize local capital to build those houses. And then through that process, you create a lot of skilled labor. So what I'm saying is agriculture, local construction, these are very important parts of our, I would say, job creation, investing in Africa. I think there are so many countries with huge population. There's one number I can't escape, the number could not escape my mind. In Nigeria, the most populous country in Africa, the best developer in one go can only do 500 units housing. Can you imagine, how constrained that developer has been? So what is the issue? The issue is certainly the regulatory land issue. That's a separate. Okay, I'm talking about there's no mortgage financing. The developer has to literally finance everything on his own balance sheets. There's no commercial lending. And clearly, the whole building material, the whole value chain is not there. I see these are as important opportunity as another iron ore mine or oil find. I mean, these are the things we need to focus beyond the general discussion, environment, climate. This is all important. But I see from our perspective, from the World Bank, IFC, we want to be much more concrete, deliberate, and to identify the most impactful area we can really, through our intervention, together with many of you sitting in this room and beyond, to really help the economy to jumpstart. We all know in this country, construction is the key to sustain the economic growth. We know that in Asia, and certainly we need to figure out a way in Africa also create that pillar. Agriculture, construction, together with natural resources, with certain manufacturing. I think that's the direction we need to focus on. I hope next time, next year, we're back, we can report to you on some of the things we are doing. We can demonstrate, indeed, this is really quite important, what I call, not new focus, but refocused efforts in some of the activities serving the continent, not necessarily have to be selling to the rest of the world. I think that's where the opportunity will be, in addition to the typical areas we have been focusing on. So I look forward to working with many of you sitting here. One thing I want to say is since the financial crisis, IFC has been very deliberate in supporting the local financial institutions. And if you recall, after the TARP, there are a lot of support for the Part 1, what they call the developed countries banks. There are very little support to the important financial institutions, the local, in many of the emerging market banks. So we worked with JBIC, launched a capitalization fund. And over the last several years, we were able to totally deploy the capital and really supported many of the leading banks in developing countries. And we are right now continue to see the needs. If anything, we see more what I call a cloud looming around the horizon because of commodity price is not strong, and for supporting the financial institutions. So we are in the process of raising the second follow-up fund of that, the first capitalization fund. And it's important, we believe, for us to support all the key pillars for job creation, for investment. So we look forward to, once we raise this fund, to talk to you about investment opportunities and also using the banks we invested to support the things you are doing in Africa. So very much really honored to have this opportunity to have this conversation with you. I think clearly the future is great. And, I was talking to Denzel Herbert is really, I think, beyond our celebration talks, we need to deliver the implementation. Hopefully next year we have more things to talk about more concretely. Thank you very much.
Doing business in Africa. You can't afford to be without Africa Investor.